On this episode of TFL Off-Road, I'm gonna answer the all-important question: which brand new Toyota Tundra off-road truck is best for you? I'm gonna take both of these on this trail. This is the new TRD Off-Road Toyota Tundra Hybrid, and this right here is the top dog, the TRD Pro. So let's get going and see what's what. I'm gonna try to be very quiet because right now I'm in a TRD off-road truck and I'm in two-wheel drive, which means I can be in all-electric mode a little bit longer than if I was in four-wheel drive low, for example, which always has its engine running. But I wanted to show you guys a little bit of silent driving off-road. Here. And there the engine goes. As soon as I added load to it, I asked it to climb, the engine came on. Here's why you buy the TRD off-road package, really. You get a selectable rear locker. Yeah, another Tundra four-wheel drive truck without this package would have a traction control system that can help you get out of most situations you might get into. But when the going gets tough, like on a rocky terrain or really off-camber situations, this is really useful. You're also getting this to get the crawl control system and the multi-terrain select. The crawl control system is just really handy. I mean, it's far improved, and I'm going to be testing it on these loops here today to see exactly how it works. I'm going to now shift to 4-low. This comparison is really about suspension because other than the suspension system itself, these two trucks have the same configuration, crew cab, short box. They both have the hybrid power plant, which is their 3.5 liter twin turbo with electric motor and a battery. And then the tire and the suspension and the skid plate package is that what separates them. Of course, there are other things like luxurious interior that's special to the Pro. But here in the TRD Off-Road, I have Bilstein shocks. I have skid plates, but not really awesome aluminum skid plates. And Toyota says the TRD Off-Road package, by the way, which you can get on several different trims, including the SR5, the Limited like this truck, the Platinum. It's really for slower off-road obstacles. That's kind of how it's tuned, which is actually good because this is what I'm doing right now. The first obstacle is this climb, really, and it's also an articulation area. So you have both elements working against me. There. See what's happening? I can feel the traction control system working. Ooh, I think I touched something. But it's still doing it. You know, I wish I had a little bit more clearance. These trucks are somewhere in the neighborhood of between 9 to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. I think what would be perfect, ideal. TRD also has a 2.6 inch lift kit that you can buy from a dealership. It's coming this summer, and get it installed actually. And that on 35s, that's what I want to see next.
Yeah, a little bit more this way. There you go. Now all the way. Good.
Wow, that was close. I'm trying to get as much turning room as possible. Okie dokie, I'm gonna flex here. Just a little bit of flex. Okay. Wheel in the air. Done. All right, I think the rock area is next. The TRD Off-Road package truck has this wheel tire package. It's a 20-inch wheel with a really cool TRD center cap, but I don't quite get why it's a 20-inch. I think it needs to be a little bit small diameter so we have a bigger tire. But the tire in this case is a Wild Peak all-terrain. It's a 265/60 R20. So far, I mean, it's got aggressive tread, but I just wish there was more sidewall here. Okay, now I am going to be using my cameras. This area is super tight, between these trees especially, but I can see on both sides where my sides are, so that's pretty handy, so I don't scrape and damage this beautiful $58,000 Tundra. So I have a spotter that I'm following directions here in the rock area. How's my chin? I'm a little worried. A little worried about my chin. Let's see if I can clear this. Yeah, I did. Of course, depth perception is not available in the camera. I am in 4 low. This is exactly what I want for crawling slowly. Right now I'm descending this hill without touching the pedals. I'm using crawl control system. They're up to 5 different speeds. And yeah, it's nice and easy. It also works like a hill descent control system, but it also can take me up an obstacle. Now here's the muddy area that I'm dipping into. Going for a dip. I'm gonna close my windows so that nothing splashes. And go very slowly. There, got it. Yes. And for the final trick, I'm gonna do a little bit of fast running because this may be the difference between, or significant difference between the TRD Pro and the TRD Off-Road. I think I'm almost reaching the kind of the limit on this terrain. There, that was a little bit of a harsh touch right there. It's okay, I mean, it will do it, but I wonder how the Pro will handle it with those Fox shocks. Guys, I want to show you an acceleration in the TRD Off-Road with the hybrid. Bam! That was basically 60 miles an hour on the highway, and you probably heard that, but it does have sound augmentation. I'll compare it against the TRD Pro. Let me know what you think. Do they sound different, the same? Let me know. I'm on the highway, so I wanted to show you the acceleration in the TRD Pro. Let's get going. It's really kind of a throaty sound, but of course it is augmented. And it depends on which kind of mode you're in. And I was in 2-wheel drive, and my mode was sport. I can show you that right there. The transmission downshifts and it just goes. It reminds me actually of a Ford Raptor kind of sound as far as the cabin sound is concerned. Here's my setup in the TRD Pro. I went to neutral and then from 4 high to 4 low. engaging low range. Now I have access to a few more things. I have crawl control system. Put it in drive. And I have MTS, multi-terrain select. And when in crawl control, multi-terrain select is in auto mode. I've mostly been in low 2 or low 1. In for low, I also have access to my rear selectable locker. I wish the rear locker was available also in 4 high and 2 high maybe, for just a variety of conditions, but it is available in 4 low. If you ask, for example, Toyota engineers about the TRD Off-Road versus the TRD Pro, the TRD Pro is supposed to be a little bit more meant for high-speed off-roading, and it has to do, of course, with the suspension. And that's why the TRD Pro is made a little bit wider with the wheel offset. It has a slightly larger tire, but the shocks are way different, and some of the tuning of the suspension. Because we're talking about Bilstein in the TRD Off-Road versus this, the 2.5 inch Foxes. And Toyota engineers tell me that the Pro is tuned a little bit for what I'm not doing now, which is higher speed running. The TRD Pro model, of course, is very unique because it's the top dog, like I was saying in the very beginning. What does that mean? Well, that means it only comes like this in the crew cab short bed configuration, and it only comes with a hybrid, and it also fully optioned out. And finally, now we know the price. The price in the TRD Pro is $66,000. Yep, it's a bit pricey. Of course, that includes the hybrid. How does that price compare to some of the competition? Well, now for 2022, in the spring of 2022, Chevrolet will start selling the Silverado ZR2, which I would say almost directly competes against this. Of course, the ZR2 Silverado has a big V8, not a hybrid. This is a twin-turbo V6 hybrid. And that one starts at about 65, so comparable. All right, so I engaged the rear locker. It says it's enabled. So this is my slowest speed. And in the previous crawl control systems, you would hear the traction and the ABS system working. In this right here, it's really silent. You can hear the engine. Okay, so now I'm disengaging the locker. And this is a big truck, so I'm going to be using my camera system. When you get the TRD Pro, you get all the toys, and of course 360-degree cameras in off-road modes. Of course, you also get your direction of your tires, even the rear tire here on the side. You can kind of tell if you turn this way and move forward, this is where your tire will be. Also, as I showed you, it will remember some of the terrain in front of you. So when you start moving, it will start remembering where you were and draw some of the terrain right there. Or you can look in the back as well. There's that tree. Okay. Come on, Tundra, you can do it. It is a tight area. What you're hearing is the proximity sensor on some of the bushes here. All right, let me get through this articulation section here in the front. Okie dokie. So this is basically the frame twister. And what this is showing is also the additional stiffness of the new frame on all new Tundras. They're fully boxed now, and kind of shows what the suspension is capable of. As I was saying, the Chevy Silverado ZR2 starts at around 65, and with a couple of options could be easily more, up to about $70,000. And then there is another truck that starts near this range at $65,000, a little bit more than that. It's the third generation F-150 Raptor. Technically, the Raptor has a little bit more sophisticated suspension with live valves. It has a little bit more horsepower, 450. It has a little bit more clearance, actually a lot more clearance when you consider the 35s that it has as a base Raptor, and then moving off to the 37-inch tall tire, although that truck is more expensive. It's all about wheels and tires, right? And in this case, the TRD Pro comes on these BBS forged wheels. They're unique style, but forged means they're just stronger. Overall, the wheel itself is stronger. It's an 18-inch wheel, which gives you a little bit more sidewall, which is important for off-road terrain. It's a 285/65 R18 Wild Peak AT. I just wish this was a little bit taller, maybe a 34 or a 35. But overall, the wheel is offset. It has a little bit more width. Overall, more stability. Feels nice. I got over it. I'm going super slow. And that's why a spotter is important. And he's trying not to make it so I don't scratch anything or damage.
Put your wheels where they are. And stay to the left so you don't hit the right side of the truck. And when your back wheel starts to come down, go very slow.
Okay.
That tailpipe hangs pretty low.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Thank you.
Speaking of the tailpipe, this TRD Pro does have a unique dual exhaust. Actually all Tundra trucks now for 2022, they're exiting on the driver's side. I see the muddy area right now. Okay. It's going down. It's going down. Okay, what is going on here? I didn't scrape. Oh yeah. Let's see what she'll do at speed. You know what? Driving even 20 miles an hour, the Pro feels a lot more confident. It feels like it has a lot of just bottom out control, because this truck is not light, but it just handles a lot of these undulations, I would say, quite a lot better than the TRD Off-Road. I usually don't talk about payload numbers and towing when reviewing an off-road truck, but I think it's important in this case. Because the TRD Pro only comes as a hybrid, it has a little bit less payload than some other models of the Tundra, 1,355 pounds, and the gross vehicle weight is 7,615. So this truck by itself weighs just over 6,200 pounds, which is a lot for an off-roader. When you're going off-road, you just want to be as light as possible, but I get it. This is a fully optioned, fully luxury laden off-roader. Alright, so which truck would I pick? TRD Off-Road or TRD Pro? Well, if I wanted to go faster in the desert, this is very tempting. The TRD Pro is really good at speed, and it handles all the rock crawling and the tough, close sections here, but it is a heavy truck. The curb weight on this truck is around 6,200 pounds, the way you see it right here. So I would actually pick a TRD Off-Road because you can get that package on more affordable trucks, the SR5, the Limited, and it gives you a lot of the capability, maybe not the fast running, but still a lot of off-road prowess. And as always, go back to TFLoffroad.com for all the latest news, views, and real-world off-road comparisons and reviews, and TFL-studios.com for everything automotive.